Hey everybody, Michael from backtothefuturetrading.com, and I just wanted to review the settings for the tools that we give away in our NinjaTrader Unplugged page. If you haven't seen that, it looks like this. And there'll be a link in the description for anyone who wants to get their hands on the tools that I'm about to show you here today. Okay, so the best way to show this is to kind of move from scratch into it. So let's look at a standard bar type here. We'll get rid of the indicators and look at a bear chart. So popular market, let's say NQ 3-minute chart. So in order from least complex to most complex, we'll take a look at the EMA slope color indicator. And you'll see here that we have the ability to tell the computer what colors we want to use and what size moving average we'd like to implement. So in this case, I have a 20 period moving average, and it is, as you can see, changing colors as we move from a positive to a negative slope. So now there's a few things here that we can do. We can use, for example, the average as a support and resistance line. If, for example, we close above the line and we pull back to it, we can use that as a support level for a reversal. And then again, if we close underneath it, we can short it as a potential area for resistance on there, and look for bounces along that level. That's called a trend line rejection, a TLR, trend line rejection. Another thing that people do is they'll put two different moving averages on top of each other. So one customer I know, for example, is using a 20 period with a 120 period. And so this customer swears that when there are crossovers, let's get rid of these drawing tools, of the 20 and the 120, he uses that as a means of identifying trend direction. So that crossover here, then we have a, looks like it finally crosses over here. It crosses back, it looks like, on this signal. And then we could make a case for that as the crossover right here. And so he's looking for signals after the crossover and sort of watching for those as entries and exit points along the way. So the EMA slope color tool, you can apply multiple versions of that. You can change the thicknesses of the lines and the colors that you choose for those different slope directions. The second tool in the series is the super trend, and when you apply that, you'll see that we sort of add a layer of complexity to the moving average crossover system. And so in here, for example, we see that as the volatility increases and the average true range of the market is increasing, the size of the gap between the candles and the trail stop increases. As the size of the market starts to slow down, the gap between the candles and the trail stop starts to decrease as the average true range is decreasing. And so inside of this tool, there's a few things that you can change. When we come into here, you'll see, of course, we can change the colors and the graphics of the tool. But we can also change the ATR multiplier. And so in here, the larger the number, the fewer the signals. So if I change it from a 2.5 to a 5, you'll notice that there are fewer signals and the market goes into more of a trending model, right? The largest I would suggest that you make that value would be a 3. A 3, most clinicians would agree, technicians, a 3 ATR reversal is a change of trend for sure. Okay, so that's definitely the largest I would consider if you first start using the tool. And then for scalping, you can sort of lose your mind and go down to a 1 or even a 0.5, and you'll see that there are signals in here now that you could sort of track and follow along with. Coincidentally, if you're starting to layer your tools, you could come back to the first tool that we showed here and, for example, leverage that as a way to identify what direction you're going to trade. So you're looking for maybe shorts below the MA and then longs above the MA, in which case you can see that there are opportunities along the way, whoops, to sort of filter the direction of the trades that you want to take, and that might help out with that situation. So super trend, change the value of the ATR to accommodate the style of trading that you're looking for, and or change the graphics associated with that. Those are kind of the things that you have available to you to do that. Okay, so let's kind of back out here and take a look at the more complicated tool, and that's the Oscillator Alert tool. And the way that that works, or is designed to work anyway, it's designed to tell us when an oscillator we've chosen from the NinjaTrader list is reversing in the other direction. And it will actually plot a signal on the chart. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so step one, we want to load the tool. So scroll down to the O's, and then you'll see Oscillator Alert, and you're going to add that. Next step, we want to make the data feed configuration match the bar that we're using. So in this case, we're using a minute bar, that's correct, but we're using a 3-minute bar. So make sure that your data feed matches the base value inside the indicator. Number 2, you're going to go down to where it says input series. And right here where it says input series, you're going to move your arrow over to the parameter box and it'll change. It'll say edit input. Okay, when you hover over it, click, and now you have this wonderful input series box to work with. On the left hand side, if you double click on the indicator list arrow over the indicator list folder rather, we have access to now all these wonderful indicators that we can work with. So let's take the Fisher transform, and I'm going to change the period to like a 25 period on the Fisher transform, and then we're going to hit OK. Now for the next step, we're one step away. I need to hit OK to see some values. So when I hit OK, you're going to see that we have nothing but green arrows. Nothing but green arrows. But don't despair when that happens, because we're one step away from understanding what we need to do. What I want you to do then is look at the oscillator itself, and now measure where the max and the mins are. So here we sort of have the minimums down here at -8 and the maximums up here at +8. And then all these values sort of in between, right? -8 and +8. Now go back into the indicator and look at, if you want to see all of the turns available, go to your overbought, oversold parameters. The bottom line is going to be your smaller number down here, the lower number. So that's -8. The upper line is going to be your top number, in this case +8. -8, +8. Now watch what happens when we hit OK. Lo and behold, every place there's been a reversal is now marked by a signal on the Oscillator Alert tool. So the market on the NQ today opened right around here, 9:30, And you can kind of see and get a feel for where those signals are appearing in relation to each other. Okay, one thing I just did here, I increased the separation of the arrow to the bar type. So if we scroll down here where it says separation in ticks, I can move that arrow away from the body of the candle a little bit. Let me make it 100 ticks here, and you'll see that I can actually push that out a little bit further. All right, so here we have some signals where the Fisher transform, the 25 period Fisher transform, is changing its direction, and where you see those deltas from positive to negative and vice versa, it's actually changing colors and displaying a signal on the bar as it occurs. Now you're going to see that vertical line appearing as the curl is taking place. So from bar open forward, if that curl is starting to happen, this red line will actually flash. It becomes permanent on bar close. So permanent on bar close. Now, what if you don't want to see every signal? All right, what if you want to throttle back? Well, what I've done here is I've said, okay, I want to see the signals that are occurring once we get past +3 and once we get past -3. So think of this like overbought, oversold, right? So here, -3, I move that to my oversold level. So if I want to see every signal, I use that first technique. If I want to throttle or filter the signals to a very narrow band, traditional overbought and oversold, I do the opposite. So my lower line here is -3, and that's oversold on the bottom side. My positive value here, +3, overbought, OB, is the upper side of that. And so if I scooch this level up, let's say it's 2 instead of 3, watch how we're going to capture these additional lows here on the bottom. You'll see a couple more green arrows, right? Look, we still got the one, we're still missing this guy right here. So let's make it -2. Come in here and we'll change it. So now when I change that to -2, look at what's happening right here. This is my OS value. And then this is my OB value, my overbought. And so any curls that occur below 2 are going to be factored into my chart. Any curls that are above 3 in this, or sorry, 2 in this case, are going to be caught. And then all the wiggles in between are going to be filtered out. So that can be handy if you're using this for stochastics, for example, or RSI. Let's take an example. Let's look at an example of that real quick. Okay, what I've done in this example is I've changed the bar type. This is a 4-range E-mini S&P signal. 4-range E-mini S&P signal. And I still have that stochastics oscillator down here below. And I've used the all signal technique. So the lower number 10 is my lower value, overbought, and my oversold value is 100. And so everything in here is flipped. All of the signals will be displayed. And now you can see with trend on a range chart, we have a much nicer perspective of the signals, and you can sort of see on the way up and the way down that we've got on a non-time bar a much nicer, I think, perspective of those signals. Whoops, didn't want to do that. Hold on. There we go. I broke it. You fixed it. And sort of show you from the open where those signals are. Again, if you want to change the sensitivity of this, you can go back into the input series and you can change the smoothing value of your input. So here for the stochastic, the smoothing is a 3. If we change that to a 15, like 5 times bigger, right? You'll see fewer signals when we get to the other side. If you're looking for some kind of stop level, remember, we can come back now and add our wonderful little tool. And now you can actually see where those reversals are coming in. So if you were going to go short, for example, at this signal, you could put your stop just above the trail stop, stop just above the trail stop, stop just above the trail stop, and so on. In this case, when you have the signal, you would wait for the first red bar and then put your stop above the trail stop, and so on. So you can begin to combine things here, the moving average, the super trend, and the oscillator alert tool to really kind of build in a nice training system. Again, if that's something that you want, just go to the link in the description, NinjaTrader Unplugged, backtothefuturetrading.com/unplugged-2, and that will get you to that page where you can get the download and the Dropbox for that. Thanks, everyone. I hope these are useful for you. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. If you have success with these, please let us know in the comments so that we can continue to monitor that and be on the lookout for other tools that might help you. Be good, everyone. Talk to you soon.